everybody. This is Dances with Floss. I'm Cass.
And I'm Tanya. And yeah, we got some fun stuff for you today. I'm excited.
We're in the same room.
For once.
So, as a weird thing, she doesn't have any finishes. I do. Now, I tried really hard to make this an FFO, but shipping, like the frame's just not going to be here till tomorrow. So you'll get to see this one more time when the frame gets here. But I finished Stitch for Pride 2024. The new month was in the middle here, was the December release was the Love. I used this whole thing. I did all of this in sulky floss. And it's on a 20 count Not Another Reproduction from BeStitchMe. And it was my first time using 20 count and my first time using sulky floss that I am now in love with and use whenever I can find an excuse to use it. I used Vintage Holiday for the December. I loved that it had all the Christmas colors, which to me, December just needed. So that is my finish that I'm super proud of. It only took me 4 days. So I believe a little over 1,300 stitches.
Just for December.
Just for December.
Yeah.
So, and typically I found, with the exception of when I did the Sriracha bottle, 4 days was about average what it took me to do these, because I didn't sit for hours to work on it. I would work on it on my lunch break, which is about, well, my lunch break is 45 minutes, but I used like 30 minutes of my lunch break. And then I might squeeze another hour in the evening and then put it away. And that was typically enough time to get through at least the smaller ones. Some of the bigger, more stitch dense ones, I put more hours in so that I stayed within that kind of 4 to 5 day range. And I was mostly doing 2 or 3 a month to catch up, since I started in June instead of January like everyone else. But I have seen Stitch for Pride 2025 sign up has started. Mm-hmm. The theme for that, it has to do with trans people in history. So people who are trans, two-spirit, non-binary, and historical figures that fit into those groups. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm on the fence if I'm going to sign up. I'm probably going to sign up because I did enjoy Stitch for Pride, and I agree with what it all stands for and why, learning the history and learning the importance and all of that. So I would consider myself an ally, and I want to show that. So I'm looking forward to that. I probably will sign up at sometime in the next week. Let us know if you're signing up too.
All right. So we're going to move on to whips now. Mm-hmm. And she has more whips than I do. So I'm going to let her go first. And then I'll take over, and then we'll see where we land.
Yeah, I'm going to show you like my November ones first. And then she'll do hers, and then I'll show you my December. Because while I'm not a seasonal stitcher, I am a seasonal starter. And I couldn't resist. I have really only one Christmas pattern that's on the go, and I'm really not in the mood to work on it. So I was, all right, we're going to start a whole bunch of Christmas stuff. So in, I think, mostly order, I have my November stuff. This is my progress on Blue Moon. I'm almost to the bottom of the tree. So while I was with my family for Thanksgiving, sitting at the table waiting for dinner to be done.
Stitching.
I was stitching the tree. I wanted to be working on my Thanksgiving sampler, but it just was too big to take over to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving dinner. So while I was over there, this came with me and I worked on it. This is on, I believe it's 18 count. Yeah, 18 count of Malachite from Fiber on a Whim. And I am using Roxy, the Roxy Floss Coat Floss, except for the solid black. I'm using just regular DMC 310. The tree branch, I am using I believe it's called Campfire from Roxy Floss Co. It's not a black, even though it looks like it on screen. It is not. It's like a charcoal gray, but it's like a variegated charcoal gray. So, and I like it because it shows a nice difference with all that black. There's so much black in this pattern. I needed something that wasn't black somewhere. So that's what I decided to do. And I made that needle minder.
That's a Cass original.
Yeah. I bought a bunch of pendants at Joann's and I glued some magnets on the back because I needed more needle minders than I needed common sense, apparently. So
I think that's a common problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I probably spent the most time on in November, because I was mildly obsessed, was it's just one side of it. I mean, this is the full size of the fabric, but since I haven't stitched all the way across yet, this is October Bloom. And last time what you saw was that I had just done this. What I spent a great deal of time on was getting all the way, this is the whole length of the pattern. This is the bottom. So I started on, or I may have like a couple of rows underneath that, but that's it. This is pretty much what the length is going to be like. I am using the mostly Roxy Floss conversion. There are some colors where I'm choosing to use the DMC because when I looked at it, you can't see variegation. So I decided it didn't make sense to do that financially because I love it, but it is more expensive floss. And DMC, less than 70 cents a skein still. So if I couldn't justify using the Roxy Floss, then we use DMC. But the greens, I am using the Roxy Floss. And this flower pot that is outlined but not filled in is also Roxy Floss. Although I am changing the suggested color. The suggested color, I believe, was a gray, and I've decided I want it to be blue. So I'm using Blue Moon. The fabric is a BeStitchMe fabric. And it's now escaping my brain what it's called.
Did you write it down?
I did. It's somewhere.
Okay.
I think it's Boneyard. But
I think you're right.
I'll double check on that.
That sounds right. I think so.
I don't think that's right.
I think it is.
No, it's Sandbar.
Sandbar, Boneyard.
It is 18 count. Either Sandbar or Sand Dollar, Sand something.
We'll get it right and put it in the comments.
Yeah. I will. I promise.
Yeah.
It's in here somewhere. Did I save it? No. Sorry. I'll get it figured out. I have it somewhere. I'm usually pretty good at remembering what color fabric, the names of the colors of fabric that I use. So it's kind of weird that fell out of my head.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah.
I've worked this whole weekend. I'm on 7 consecutive days of work right now. So my big Thanksgiving start that I really started the day before Thanksgiving because I had to. It's in my Masters of the Universe bag, because I'm a nerd, that I got from Jasmine's Custom Bags. Her name is Jen, so in my head, I keep wanting to call it Jen's Custom Bags, but it's Jasmine's Custom Bags. It's my favorite bag. But now, eventually, this will be a Twin Peak primitive sampler, but I am in the text part that we charted ourselves. She charted, but then I had to rechart it on an app because I had problems with the chart that she gave me. So, but if she hadn't done it first, I wouldn't have been able to do the recharting in the app. So
I'm sorry.
it was a joint effort.
It was a joint. Go team.
Go team. But it's the first Thanksgiving, and I have the first line from Wednesday Addams' monologue, the "We cannot break bread with you."
From the Addams Family Values movie. When she's at Camp Chippewa.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I found stitching it that rather than doing one line across, that was taking me forever and it felt tedious and drove me crazy. That if I did like the first word of several lines and then worked my way across, I felt more accomplished and it felt better. Otherwise, my brain was already numbing out. And I was like, oh, this is not a good sign. I do not need that to happen.
Not with this stitch.
No. So, tentatively in January, when I pick this back up, because I'm not going to pick it up for the rest of December, I'm going to try and do like stitch a word a day, Monday through Friday.
Maybe a couple if they're small.
No, I'm going to reward myself
just by stitching the
yeah a word a day, 5 days a week until I am all the way through that monologue. And then once I'm through the monologue, I will take a break on it until November, and then in November I will hit the rest of the sampler hard. But yeah, my goal is to have the monologue itself done done before November so that I can start the rest of the sampler in November. It is on a 20 count vintage country mocha. I don't like the feel of this fabric. I like the color of the fabric just fine. I am never buying vintage country mocha fabric again. It's too stiff. I'm spoiled now with all this hand-dyed fabric
that is really soft. Yes.
And I'm a spoiled brat and I don't like it. I like the color though.
But it's a sensory thing though.
It is.
It's not that like the fabric is bad or that there's something wrong with it. It's just a sensory.
Yeah, it's a sensory issue for me.
Yeah.
And when you spend so much time on something, touching it so much, that sensory thing really matters.
Yeah.
It really, really matters to me. So, I mean, I'm neurospicy. and sensory is an issue. You start dreading something if it feels bad. So, yeah. That's my progress on this. More to come. Please stick around for this one because it's going to be fun when I get there. I promise we are doing a word a day starting in January.
All right. I'm going to take over with my whips now. I didn't think I had enough to show, so of course I had to start another project just because that is how I am. So we had a dance last night, dances with Floss, dancing.
I'll try and insert a video, but I'll have to take the sound out or like put a different song over the top of it because otherwise YouTube flags it.
We don't want to get on the bad side of the YouTubes. So I started this ink circles pattern. This is Here Comes Treble. And I actually have all the musical clef patterns. So I will be doing all of them on the same fabric. So I have this start of this I did last night between the hours of 11 and 2 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And so I am using on the pattern, it calls for Classic Colorworks flosses, but I don't have them. So I am using the DMC-ish. It says DMC-ish.
It does say ish. Wow.
On the pattern, I can't flip this around because it has the actual pattern on the back. But yeah, Classic Colorworks is what they recommend, but I am using the DMC-ish because I had those colors. And that is a little needle minder that says this project may contain cat hair. That is from Snarky Crafter on Etsy. I love that needle minder because it is certainly very true in my household.
And I'm taking bets that she has this finished by our next floss tube. Just saying.
I might.
My money's on that it will be finished by the next floss tube.
It might be. But this I am stitching on. This is 14 count vintage linen Aida by Zweigart. It's very stiff, like the vintage country mocha. That's okay. I don't mind that so much. Except apparently last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, it kept poking me as I was trying to stitch in bed. So it got a little wrinkled around the edges. But
that's what an iron is for.
Yeah. So it'll be fine. I'll get the wrinkles out. But it's really fast stitch so far. It's really fun. I'm liking it. My boyfriend is a musician, and so I'm going to be doing these. I'm thinking, make them into like a not really like a triptych, but like a bell pull type thing, maybe, or like put them like treble clef, alto clef, bass clef, like on a thing. So we'll figure it out. So I just gotta stitch them all first. So that's my progress on that.
I'll hand sew it if I have to.
Not hand sewing. I don't know how to do any of that.
I do.
I know.
Because I don't use a sewing machine.
I know. I'm not very good at the other crafty things, and I get jealous. Anyway, whip number 2. We don't need to talk about my jealousy issues of people's talent right now. So this is my progress on the Barbara Anna designs. This is, I want to get it so close because it's so pretty. It is the Cosmic Dreams 2 Big Sister pattern. So this is what it looks like. Just the picture for realsies. Oh, you get the reflection of the Christmas tree in the background. So that's what it looks like. So I am using the called for DMC on that. And I'm stitching it on 16 count Aida. It is the Evergreen color from BeStitchMe. So I'm really excited with my progress on this one. I think it's gorgeous. Like, it makes me very happy when I'm stitching on this one. The colors, I think, are just really beautiful, and it's sort of like she's coming to life before my eyes when I stitch her, because I started with her hair. And then as I got to her face, and then the light and dark on the face, and I was just really excited, like, oh, she's coming to life. So she's not
it reminds me that I really want to start a Barbara Anna. I have a Barbara Anna pattern. I have a couple of them. I just haven't, and I really need to get on the ball because they're awesome.
They are really pretty. I just can't wait until I get to the little Space Invaders that are in her hair. That's as soon as I saw the pattern, that was my immediate, like, I have to buy this because I want to stitch the Space Invaders. So I'm just, that's my geeky weirdness. And then last but certainly not least is my BAP. So this I call it my Sunday stitch, and today is Sunday when we're filming this. And so
I love your hair clips holding your fabric.
I know, I'm very high tech with, which is really sad when I'm looking for a hair clip and I'm like, where are all my hair clips? They're on my frame, my Q-snap. But since, like I said, today is Sunday, so this is where I left off. So my string is sort of in the way here. Yeah, but that's my progress so far. That is sampler 63 by 2x2 stitch art on Etsy. I am stitching that on the 16 count Oracle Aida by Picture This Plus that I purchased from 123stitch.com. And if you've been paying attention to our previous ones, you know that I am using our previous floss tubes. I should have finished that sentence, but I'm so excited. Our previous videos I discussed, I'm using the Joker floss, which is this really cool green and purple color combination from Pirate Robin. I have one dead soldier, so it's like one card. I've completely used all of the floss of one skein. He's killed off. So I'm on my second skein of all of the like 15 skeins that I bought to do this project.
I love that you just called it that.
That's it. My dad used to call things out, like when you emptied something, it'd be like, up, one soldier down, and then he'd get rid of, it's a thing. So
I believe you. I just find it hilarious.
Yeah, it's probably not very PC or nice, but that's the dad in me is popping out when I say things. So I'm very excited on that one. Like 10% complete today. I'm almost to 11% complete on that one because it's ginormous, and that is an actual word that I just made up. So yeah,
it's a Midwest thing because I say ginormous.
Yeah, huge mungus.
Oh no, that's made up.
Okay,
I've never heard that.
Okay, so that'll be, it's my huge mungus BAP, which I didn't know that what BAP was until she told me. So we're all good there.
No.
So those are all of my whips. So we will move back on to Miss December's whips over here.
So,
ooh, that's pretty.
When my finish happened, it vacated the Care Bear bag. So it has been conscripted for its new project.
You put it back in rotation.
I did.
It's not done yet.
Because I love it. They will never be done. I will be using these Jasmine's custom bags forever.
You'll just be using your Care Bear bag until it falls apart.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask someone to stitch it back together and repair it because I love it. Technically, this was a November start, but I started it on the very last day of November, and it has had the majority of its work in December. That's the Nora Corbett Coffee House, and I started it to kind of do the same thing as at the beginning of, or at the end of October, beginning of Nora November, where I did the Halloween fairy to kind of bridge that gap because I was really excited to start Nora November, but it wasn't November yet. Well, I was really excited to start Christmas, but it wasn't Christmas yet. So that's my Nora November goodbye and hello December, the coffee house. And if you saw in one of my previous, in one of our floss tube extras, I showed that pattern off, and I showed off the silk conversion that I did at BeStitchMe because I went to the BeStitchMe Black Friday sale in person.
I'm super jealous. I didn't get to go because I was out of town.
But I went with Babs from Cottage Rogue. We drove down there together, and she helped me do the silk conversion, which is listed entirely on that other video. So go check out that. Go check that out, because I did list my entire floss conversion to the BeStitchMe silks.
These are so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so soft.
I went color by color with the DMC off of the spinner rack they have there and compared them, because I did use their chart that they have online. The very kind woman whose name escapes me at the moment at the shop did say to me that they are going to be updating that chart, but she didn't know when, because there's a bunch of new colors. But I found some of what they suggested wasn't as good of a match, which may just be a dye lot thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a good start if you can't go to the shop in person. But if you can, like I can, I went in and used the spinner DMC colors on their spinner rack and compared them to the flosses to pick out the silks. And I used their buy one, get one 50% off to afford them. Because that's a little rich for me.
I like this one. It's called T-Rex.
Yeah, I know. I kind of dig that one too. That one actually was a mistake. So I thought, and I've worked it into the pattern. It's going to be fine. It's getting used. I thought that it called for 501, and it actually called for, or no, I thought it called for 500, but it actually called for 501 in the pattern. I had written it down wrong. And when I got home, I discovered that and went, well, I can't go back now. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
So T-Rex it is.
Oh, but they're way different greens. One is a way darker shade of green.
Oh, really?
However, in the free silk pack they gave me or free with my purchase for Black Friday, there happened to be a color that reasonably matched the color that I didn't get.
Oh, nice.
So it worked out perfect. So I still am using a full set of BeStitchMe silks, plus a couple additions. Like I'm using the called for Karen water lilies, and I'm using, I'm having to make some choices because of other things, and I'll show you in a second here. Here's what I have so far.
I love that fabric. Sparkly pink.
Mm-hmm. I am stitching it on a 20 count opalescent petunia. So you can't see the shimmer right now, but like it does. Oh, there you kind of get it a little bit. But yeah, it does shimmer. Now with it being 20 count, I'm having to make some adjustments. Wherever there will be Krinnik, it will not be number 4 braid. It's going to be the blendable. If I use the Krinnik at all, I may use, I do like the DMC, their metallic floss is actually not that bad. And it's if you do it in short, the ones that are on the spools, what is that called? Diamonds, the diamond. So when at all possible, I'm going to try and use the diamonds. I'm also having to make some substitutions using the DMC Etoile. For instance, in the roof, that is supposed to be a high luster silver. The whole roof, no thank you. First of all, that's a lot of space to do
metallic. Wow, it is.
Second of all, it's sold out. So I did go on 1-2-3 stitch thinking, let me just order the blendable and I'll work around it and do the roof later. Oh no, it's sold out. So I looked at what I had at home and decided, you know what? I don't want to stitch an entire roof in metallic. It's not happening. But there is a reasonable colored gray in the Etoile because I own all of the Etoile colors because, master set, right? For me, that included the Etoile, and I did it. And so its wall has sparkle in it. So while it's not high luster, it's still sparkle, and that's what I did. I'm going to make a lot of decisions like that because it's 20 count. I'm not going to be beading. It's not happening. I may do it in the snow in the sky, but it'll be different beads than what's called for because I need smaller beads. And that's fine because I have beads that are left over from another project that I may just use instead. Using up what I have, and to save a little money from what I spent on silk. To save somewhere. Oh, thank you. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I am doing it on a paper pattern, so I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm a decent amount through. I'm happy with my progress on it. I've spent several nights on it, and we'll spend several more. I do think that I might maybe go over the top of the etoile with a strand of the silver in the diamond. Maybe. I'm going to get it and look at it and decide from there. But yeah, for now, that's the decision I've made, and I'm sticking to it. So that's that one. Then I was really jonesing for, I guess I have 4 December starts and not.
How dare you?
Sorry.
How dare you?
Because the Jingle Ball happened, and then I spent more money.
I really like this one. It's adorable.
I bought this bag is new to me too that I got final. I have to look up. It'll be in comments who made the bag because I don't remember. I bought it on Etsy because I haven't been able to get any bags from Jasmine's Custom Bags because of the Canadian strike, and I really needed some Christmas bags, so I bought one from someone else, which is fine. I love other people's bags too. And this one's really cute because, you know, I'm a mid-mod kind of girl, and that fit my aesthetic. I started Happy Christmas to All from Cosford Rise, and I bought this pattern off Etsy because if you buy it from her shop on Etsy, you can get the PDF pattern, and I prefer to stitch with PDF. And I have all the 8 tiny reindeers done. I mean, they still need their like bells and stuff like that, but I'll get that stitched in there. I wanted to get all their bodies done. And I have a good amount of the border. I'm more than halfway through the border. My goal for the next couple of weeks is to stitch all the buildings and everything so that when I start stitching the snow, I can just mindlessly fill the snow and not have to count, because that's not going to be fun. So I'm going to try and do everything but the snow and save the snow for last so that it's just mindless fill. That's the idea behind that. But I'm happy about it, and I used my mincemeat pie. That makes me so happy. I mean, she's in the UK, and
that's caterpillar cross stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mincemeat pie is much more a thing in the UK than it is in the US. So I needed to use that one on that. That was my great logic. Oh, and this is on 20 count Frost by BeStitchMe. She shows it on her site or on Etsy. The called for is kind of a more natural color, but I was like, I want it to look like sky, so I went with a blue. Then I got antsy that I wanted, low battery. We'll be fine. We'll make it. Sorry for that interruption. I wanted something easier on my eyes because I'm stitching with a lot of 20 count. And I bought this awesome Satsuma straight pattern recently. So I got it started by stitching a red door.
It's very pretty.
Yeah,
It's very pretty.
I'll get the other colors. I was gonna start the rest, do the rest of the door and start on the house, except for I discovered I'm out of those colors in my master set. So I have a little list going of the colors. I went through the chart and looked at, okay, what colors am I missing from my master set? And it's about 5 colors out of the whole list. That's pretty good. But I'm gonna make a trip to Joann's or Michael's and get my missing colors. It's on a fabric that is like giving me the ick to touch, but it's okay. I'm gonna survive it.
Another sensory.
It's the opalescent ones are just scratchy. They're pretty though. It's a DMC 14 count, very light blue. It's, you know, but it's opalescent and it was easy on my eyes. So we went with it. It's scratchy though. I will survive. And then I went to the Jingle Ball. And I bought a whole lot of PDF patterns. I'm not going to give you the whole list today. I think that's going to be its own FLOSSTUBE extra because I need to, like, I'm still downloading in my head what all happened and what all I did.
Did you black out?
A little bit.
There's so much.
And I even, like, had some in my cart, put them back. Had them in my cart, took them out. Like, I walked away from some things and went, it's gonna have to wait till next year. It's gonna have to wait till next year. I can't. I still have to buy Christmas presents. I can't.
But this is one you said I can.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Heartstring samplery. I have a little start. It's gonna be hard to see. I didn't put something behind it, I think. Hold on. Okay, it's gonna be really hard to see. But, and then I have the shadow from the camera. Okay. Marshmallow World. This is an exclusive pattern. And it's got birch trees and a snowman, and it says Marshmallow World. Beautiful. Trust me. I will have this done before the end of January because I can't put it down. I love it. I started it on Friday night when I bought it. I bought it and then I logged into a chat room and was stitching on my Nora Corbett and kept thinking in my head, I've got fabric for that. I can start that right now. I have fabric. I know that piece of fabric that I cut off for that Cost for Ride pattern. I bet that it's the right size for this. I bet it is. I just know that voice in my head would not shut up. And it was recovering from the blackout of all the money I spent on patterns and all the free patterns I downloaded because there was as many of those as what I bought. Yeah. And I couldn't get it out of my head. So I got up, got the piece of fabric, measured it. Yep, I was right. It's the right size. It was a long, skinny piece of fabric. It's a long, skinny pattern. So it is on 20 count Frost from BeStitchMe. I'm kind of doing my own floss conversion to sulky. I could use DMC. I have the DMC. It's fine. I think part of what hooked me is those birch trees. It's a beige color and it's going to be against all that white snow, right? And I remembered in my sulky floss, I have a blendable called Parchment that is different cream colors and different shades of cream. So it's not just one. And I thought that, and I don't know if you can see, I'm going to get close so you can see the striations. I haven't added the dark contrast yet, but it looks like there's multiple colors there. That is one floss. That is one variegated floss. And to me, it just really made it look like that bark. So I was super excited about it and I had to start it. And believe it or not, this is 6%. I am 6% in. I have 2 of the skinny trees done. I've got another 3 trees to stitch. I've started on, this is the whole height of the pattern. I wanted to see, like, get the whole height in, so I did. This tree is taking me forever. That's 200 stitches by itself, just this first tree down here. It's taken me a while, where these ones went really fast for me, which is, I needed to give my brain a break. This is going to be another one where I do everything else and then I do the snow last, because there's a whole lot of snow fill. It's fine. The snow is going to be B5200. I've already decided that, because that bright white is going to contrast really well with the parchment. But all of the other colors I use are probably going to be sulkies. Just with the 20 count, sulky works great. So that's my preference. And that's the last of my whips currently. Heaven help us all by the end of December for how many I will have started for the whole month.
We might have to put you on a limit for, like, no more whips to show. No, not to do, just to show. Like, you have a limit, like a hard limit of 5. I don't know.
No.
Okay. So we're gonna go on to our next little segment of haul.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna cut it. Just go, because my battery's running low.
All right. So I went to one of our more local LNSs, which is actually a quilt shop in Amana here, and it's Heritage Designs. And I bought the Satsuma Street Christmas Baubles pattern because they were really, really pretty. And I really like these colors. I haven't even opened it out of the little plastic cover yet, because I wanted to keep it nice and pristine for you guys. No, just because I had so many other things that I have been trying to do. But then I am going to stitch them on perforated paper. So I got the Mill Hill perforated. This is a 14 count paper. I'm gonna make them into actual ornaments.
So now you know what her finishes are gonna be for our next floss tube.
Maybe, if I get them done. If I get them done in time. Yeah. So then what I'm gonna do is felt the backs so that they're still lightweight enough to hang on a tree. So I'm very excited.
That sticky felt works really good.
The sticky felt?
Okay. Yeah, because when I did that wine one, that, I'm sorry, I would have had another finish, but I had to mail it to her. So I apologize. But I did an ornament and I had to mail it. So it's on my Instagram. It turned out really cool, but it didn't make it here because I had to put it in the mail. But I did use the sticky back felt, and that was really...
That's a good idea. Okay. And then I got, this is 14 count. I really like stitching on 16 count, but I have been looking for charcoal Zweigart, the Aida for Christmas one, my reindeer one that has all the Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, but has a big Rudolph on the side. Sure. Should have brought it, but it wasn't a start or a thing. So, but it calls for charcoal Aida. And I got this awkward size piece because they'd already cut part of it out of it. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it'll work. Otherwise, I did ask them to order me a quarter.
Did they order you 16 count, or did you stick with 14?
I stuck with 14 just because, I mean, if this works, it works. But I've got other stuff that I can use that color and type of fabric for. Okay. So that was my little mini haul, since I didn't get to do any Black Friday stuff. And I was down in Missouri with my sister down in Joplin, and we tried to find some LNSs down there. So that I could go to just to see what's shaking in the Missouri cross stitch world. But they had One store was actually a quilt, like machine quilting shop, and it had fabric and big quilting machines, so that wasn't going to work. And the other one wasn't where it said it was on the GPS, and we didn't want to try and hunt around through town for it. The other one was in another town like 15 miles away, and we just didn't have time to work it into the schedule. But it's on the list of things to do for the next time I go down to visit her. We will be stopping at an LNS in the area to see what I can get. So that's my all my stuff. I'm very excited.
The only haul I'm going to show you, because the rest of my haul has basically been the Advent and the BeStitchMe, and you'll have to watch my Flossmas FLOSSTUBE extras for that. So yeah, please watch those if you want to see that, because there was a lot and it just didn't make sense to put it in here and take up half the time when I already have a crazy number of whips. So, but I do want to show you, because I have become like a devotee of Evertote and Roxy Floss. I have the Roxy Floss Fabric of the Month, which is bi-monthly. It's not every month.
Fabric of the bi-month.
Fabric of the bi-month. There you go. And this is the November one. It came and I'm super excited. And it is Ice Queen, and I get it in 20 count because I do like stitching in 20 count. They do offer it in 18 count now.
Are you gonna open it?
I am.
I'm on pins and needles.
Okay.
Do the thing.
It is called Ice Queen.
It's so pretty.
It is beautiful. It is, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, that being said, funny story is I have been in the Fabric of the Month for BeStitchMe, and I loved it, but I also took a break from it because it seemed like after the first fabric that I got in the colored, in the color one, it felt like all I was getting were blues and purples. And I was like, I swear to God, if I get another piece of blue and purple, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I need something else. So I joined this fabric club in the modern, because their options are traditional, which I believe would be their neutrals, or modern. I'm a fun and fancy, colorful person, so I went with modern. So it's funny to me that the very first one that I get is blue and purple. It's like my karmic revenge or something. The universe's karmic revenge against me for cheating on BeStitchMe. It's what I feel like.
You're not cheating on BeStitchMe. You guys don't have an exclusive relationship. It's fine. It's fine.
So
this is just your girlfriend from Canada.
There we go. This is my international Canadian girlfriend.
Yes. It's really pretty though. I love the colors.
Mm-hmm.
It's so tiny. I don't think I will ever stitch on 20.
I like stitching.
I'm going blind. I'm doing the little grandma thing so I can see it.
I may eventually switch to 16 count. My theory on the 20 count is because I also use the Roxy Flossco Floss. When you stitch on 20 count, you stitch with one strand. And it's not cheap floss. You know, I mean, we all know hand-dyed floss it's not cheap, and I'm on a budget. So when I use and a lot of times, you know, with the dye lots and one-of-a-kind colors and stuff like that, to me, stitching on the 20 count, I use one strand. I don't like using one strand on 18 count. I use two strands on 18. So 20 count's the only one that I use one strand on, and to me, I'm conserving floss. If I am wanting to be conservative with my hand-dyed floss, I use 20 count, and then my floss will last longer.
Mm-hmm.
I will only need one skein for the pattern. I don't have to worry about doing the math to figure out how many skeins and getting it wrong, because that is math I have not figured out, and I will get it wrong every time.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. I've got the math down for fabric. I've got a calculator for that. I don't have a calculator for Floss. So I'm gonna mess up that math. And that's me being budget conscious and conservative at the sacrifice of my eyeballs. So
I will go blind, but I will go blind using one strand.
I already have 6 pairs of glasses. It's fine. And my battery's gonna die soon. So thankfully, that's the end of her haul.
We'll cut it short then. Thank you all for watching.
And next time I'll charge my phone before we film. I promise.
We're still in the beginning stages of this, people. Be patient with us. Hopefully, at least you can hear us with our fancy fuzzy mics now.
And my editing is, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. We will get better.
We will get better. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you on the flippy flip.
Bye. Bye.